In today's news, let's learn the big reports surrounding Aubameyang. Let's discuss another signing, another capture, this time Aston Villa's wonder kids, Chukwuemeka, who gave his first interview today. We have big updates then on Azpilicueta, Ziyech, plus much more, so I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you to everyone for giving me the likes in yesterday's video. Very excited for Cucurella. Hope you guys enjoyed today's vids, and before we get into anything, I need to get one big plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by Super 6, and with this sponsor in particular, I think all of you are going to be very excited and very interested by this one, you guys. Basically, Super 6 is a free-to-play game, no money involved, but all you have to do is predict the scores of 6 Premier League games every single week. And here's the catch, you guys. If you can get all 6 games right, you can win up to the tune of £1 million. So this is all you simply have to do. If you go to the description, you'll see that I have a link to my very own league, and you definitely want to join my league, you guys, because there are even more prizes that can be won. Now, if you can't predict all 6 Premier League games correct, that's fine. As long as you can score more points than me, you enter the chance to win your very own Chelsea home kit. Make sure you guys join my league before 3 PM this Saturday. So now I'm going to show you guys my 6-game prediction for the start of the Premier League. Starting with Spurs versus Southampton, it has to be a 2-0 home win to Tottenham. Moving on to Leeds versus Wolverhampton, I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to Leeds. Newcastle versus Forest, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Newcastle. I think their attacking football now helps them. And then now, of course, Everton versus Chelsea. Unfortunately, Frank, not only do I see you not getting any win against us, but I don't even see you scoring a goal. So I'm going for a 2-0 win. United Brighton, I think it's going to be 1-1. And ending things with West Ham versus Man City. I think they could cause a bit of a surprise, but I think in the end, Haaland will be the main man for Man City to capture it. For my golden goal, I'm going to be going for 12 here. Submit my predictions, you guys. So it really is that simple. Of course, verify your account. Make sure you're 18 plus, of course, naturally. So good luck to everyone that participates. And if anyone is fortunate enough to win that 1 million, then don't forget about your boy, yeah? So right now, let's start by discussing the announcement of another new signing in Chukwuemeka, who wants to be known as Cons, which makes my life a lot easier, you guys. But today, he was officially announced on the club's official website. 50 mil deal plus 5 million add-ons. And I've been hearing some rumors behind the scenes from people I know suggesting that he may be earning around 100k a week. When I heard that a few days ago, it instantly got me thinking, could this guy be staying with the first team now? And it does seem like that is exactly what will be happening. I'm very excited by that. I like that the youthful blend of top talents mixed with senior pros. I think that that's what you need to do. I've taken inspiration from Real Madrid. They've been signing a lot of these players quite early on, you know, Vinicius Jr., players like Camavinga, etc., etc. And I think that balance of those players learning the methodology from the top senior pros, understanding the culture, as well as improving as players, in a sense, you're creating the ready-made replacements in the future. And I like this strategy that we're doing with Chukwuemeka. I feel like this is always the best thing to do with youth. And I'm very excited by this kid's talents. And honestly, guys, I'm still very surprised that we even pulled this off and that we were looking to sign him. I feel like knowing the direction now our owners want to take this club towards, signing top class young players and providing that environment for them to grow. I really like that model, and I'm quite interested to see what happens as the season goes on. But regardless, let's hear the words from our chairman, Untitled Chapter. He says, Carney is one of the most exciting young players in Europe, so we are really looking forward to seeing him in action at Stamford Bridge. We are delighted to be able to bring to Chelsea and add such a talented young individual to our squad for the new season and beyond. And they followed on from words from our other board member, Ligt Bid, who says that our plan is to build for now and for the future, top class players now and top class youth. We sign one of the hottest teen talents in English football. He fits with these aims. Chelsea have shown young talent can be filled, and under our ownership, we are determined this will continue. I think today I need to release a reaction video on this guy. Let's look at his under 19 England international appearances, because this guy put in some top performances for the national team. And just seeing the confidence he has in himself, you know, the interview where he discussed that he's telling Chelsea fans, you haven't seen a player like me and expect big things. I love that conviction. I love that inner confidence. You know, sometimes when you just know you're that good, it's not arrogance. You're just being honest to yourself. And if you want to make it and become one of the top players in the world, not only is it that application, dedication, discipline, but it's that inner self-belief and confidence, and it's quite clear that Chukwuemeka has this in abundance. We did a mad deal. Thank God that we decided to just, sign him for the money that Aston Villa wanted. Other clubs that missed out made a big mistake in my opinion. I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to be introduced in the first team. Using 5 subs will make a massive difference. Learning from your Jorginhos, from your N'Golo Kantes. For me, I'm just curious to know what type of roles he may play, as this guy can do a lot of midfield on his own. So, delighted to announce Khan's, the Chelsea Football Club. You guys share your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about him? Moving on to the next stories. Now, we have to talk about some of the big reports that broke today, and that involves our captain in Azpilicueta. Today, he agreed to sign a 2-year extension, which was already activated during the second half of last season, but it seems like we are being selfish in that sense, and we have to. I'm not saying this in a bad way, and we're denying him a move to Barcelona. I hope we do something to boost Azpi's bank account, because that's a lot of money this guy's missing out on. But regardless, he's a legend at this club, and that experience, that leadership is vital. It's clear that Tuchel and Boehly saw eye to eye behind this, and I understand why. We can't sign every defender in this window. He understands the club, but most importantly, you guys, are some of the intangibles that someone like Azpilicueta does bring to our squad. He is like Tuchel's lieutenant. He is the guy, the figure that players go to for help, for leadership, for expertise. He's a guy that is able to, explain Tuchel's ideas as well too, plus being that supportive figure in the squads. And it's like in football, sometimes as fans, we just focus solely on things like goals, numbers, and all the sexy stuff, while forgetting that guys like Azpi are the ones that make your team stronger. They make your squad stronger. They make that harmony stronger as well too. And I've only ever heard good things about him over the years. I've been fortunate enough to have this channel, so I'm happy with this. Let's hope that Azpilicueta is able to get close to getting 500 appearances for us. What a unreal milestone that would be. I think he's currently on like 475, 476. So that's the news, you guys. Azpilicueta is remaining at our club. Share your thoughts and opinions. Let's discuss the latest news for our pursuit of Wesley Fofana. Now, reports broke late last night coming out from Ligt Bid, French media, and it says that Leicester City have rejected our first bid outright. Now, they haven't said what that figure was, but it does seem like there is still a 20 million valuation difference, which might not seem that much to us, but is a lot of money considering things like the player cost per year and how we're going to actually balance this out on our books. But of course, with the strategy that we're starting to get an understanding of, we want to sign top class young talents under like 23, under 21 and watch them grow, which for me is a very nice policy, and it complements what we've been doing with your Mounts and Reece Jameses already. Of course, Wesley Fofana, we've seen what this guy is doing on social media. He is active. He is making it very bait. Leicester City, I want out. And I kind of like that he's he's been so quick to do that too. So for me, let's see how this deal continues to go on. With Levi Colwill, it gets interesting. He is set to sign for Brighton. I'll discuss him later on in this point. But obviously, due to that, it means that he won't be an option for Leicester City. And reports are saying that Hudson-Odoi is a player that they're holding small inquiries for. And I'd imagine that this would be for a potential loan deal if things even escalated to that type of point. Would Tuchel want to lose Hudson-Odoi? I'm not too sure. He had his injuries last season, but I think everyone kind of forgot that he showed decent form. And there's a reason why Tuchel was using him on the left wing over Pulisic and stopped using him as a right wing back. So there is still more to come from Callum. Let this guy just get his full body back. He's still very young in my opinion. But could a loan move to Leicester City for a season, of course, give him the minutes and confidence to come back faster? Potentially, and as long as we still own these guys, maybe it's something to consider, knowing that he had those terrible injuries. But regardless, seems Leicester City want 80 million for Fofana. That's a crazy amount of money in my opinion. It's weird because I feel like it's a slight gamble based on the fact that normally you're spending 80 mil for like top like finished products, but with this type of market and the fact that Leicester City don't really want to sell, I understand why it's so high, but I could have sworn Leicester City have financial issues. A lot of their players want to leave right now. I'm not expecting Leicester to continue their form next season. I think they're going to decline a little bit because they've signed absolutely no one. They can't really do that. And Maddison, Tielemans and Fofana all want out at this point in time. So let's see what happens with their situation. But for me, part of me feels like it's a crazy amount of money to spend with Fofana, considering that he's in that same class as like your Tomori's, Gays and Coles in my opinion. But now let's discuss the latest updates on Levi Colwill. And for me, I'm a very happy man. Now, I was of the belief, based on all the reports we've been seeing ourselves and talking about, that Cole would go on a permanent deal with a buyback. I'm thinking, when do buybacks ever really work like that in football? I've never really seen it be the case, to be fair. But now, Romano and other accounts on social media and other reporters are suggesting that this may just be a season-long loan. And if that is the case, I am fully here for this. I understand that to get the players you want, you have to also make little sacrifices. And for me, Cole will go on loan for the season to Brighton is not a sacrifice because he comes back for next season. Of course, next season we'll have a sporting director that's influencing some of our strategies and decisions at the top, which will make things even better. And knowing that guys like probably Thiago Silva and other older experienced players may get phased out. So just to play Premier League football for a team like Brighton, who under Graham Potter play football the right way, there's a reason why all their centre-backs are really highly rated. He'll learn a lot under a coach like him, and I think that this would be a fantastic way for him to develop as well. If we have to obviously let him go to make sure we get Cucurella, who I think for the sake of the team may be a bit more important for our hopes for next season. So, wow, things are starting to work in our favour. August continues to be a bad month. And now let's move on to the next stories. So now let's discuss these Aubameyang reports. Now late last night it was tweeted by Fabrizio Romano suggesting that we were entertaining the idea and showing slight interest to potentially make a move to sign him. Knowing that guys like Ziyech and Werner potentially may be on the way out, we of course will have to sign attacking reinforcements to replace those players. But what is interesting though is that we know that Todd Bowley met with Laporta a while back. It has been reported by the Evening Standard suggesting that Barcelona, in their terrible financial situation, they presented us an offer to sign all three of Depay, Aubameyang and Frenkie De Jong. They still owe Frenkie around 17 million in deferred payments, but for me, the only way to sign Frenkie is if you're selling a big name midfield player. That is the only way it makes sense, because otherwise we are too stacked in midfield at this point in time. So let's see what happens with that one. Depay, slight interest. I spoke about that in yesterday's video. He could be an interesting solution, especially if a lot of these could be involved in like loan deals for the year instead of like outright permanent deals. I wouldn't be as comfortable with that, because for me, there's some incredible options for next season I think can definitely upgrade us. And I want to see the type of players that a sporting director may introduce, of course, and identify to the club. So let's see what happens with those ones. But listen, if attacking players leave, there aren't many options available in the window. I think sometimes maybe clubs understand that we got to do the best of what's available at this point in time. Aubameyang, of course, scored goals at Barca. He seems rejuvenated. Reports say from Gerard Romero, we all know who he is. He's saying that Aubameyang doesn't want to leave Barcelona and prefers to stay. But Barca still need to make some cash. They still have to release players. Aubameyang did excel under Thomas Tuchel. And if you're relying upon maybe experience like this until the end of the season, I don't really have too many strong opinions behind this to keep things real with you guys. For me, as long as it's a short-term deal, I'm okay, and I understand that there's only so many miracles we can do in one window. So let's see what happens with the story. Ideally though, for me, I would not sign a single Barcelona player just to make sure that we can sign Endrick, as Barca currently are our biggest competition and rivals with the player signing. Still, I wouldn't be surprised if Aubameyang reports to intensify. They sign Lewandowski. Naturally, he will take some of his game time from him. Feel that now that we've seen Raheem Sterling as a false nine, I feel like he will be the go-to forward we rely upon throughout the season. So in that sense, I guess Aubameyang would be like a competition figure. So I guess from the player's perspective, does he want to be a competition guy at Barca or a competition player at our club? Let's see what happens. And let's talk Hakim Ziyech. Now, I wasn't surprised by these reports. Logically, you know, like we're fans, we always kind of assume, okay, if I was the coach of Man United or something, it would make sense to go for Ziyech, knowing that he wants to leave and that he suits your system and he excelled for you whilst you were together at Ajax. It seems like reports from journalists in France, credible ones, suggesting that Ten Hag is a massive fan of Ziyech, and that Ziyech and his reps, his lawyers actually, because he has left his agent, they are of course pushing his client services to clubs like Man United. Now, you guys know I rate Hakim Ziyech, but the reality is he just doesn't really have that set position in the team because it doesn't really exist in our current tactical setup. It's a shame because I feel like we could have seen special things in like a, I don't know, let's say it was a different alternate reality and we played a different way. But with how we play in this reality, he doesn't necessarily complement and suit perfectly. So I do think like a move to Man United could make sense for all parties, especially him. And I think at least then, I don't mind the satisfaction of people really understanding, okay, this is what Ziyech's about, and we didn't necessarily see the best version of him whilst he was here. Still, if he goes, who is this replacement going to be? You're thinking it has to be someone that can play down the right hand side, unless maybe we are going to see some formation tweaks as the season goes on, because we are absolutely stacked in midfield. Could we see a diamond used at times? I wouldn't be surprised. Who knows? Reports say that Ten Hag would like Ziyech, even though management at Man United are maybe a bit put off by him, which makes no sense to me because the guy literally excelled in this manager system who just hired for United. So let's see what happens with Ziyech, but it seems like his future away is getting closer and closer. So on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Thank you for watching, you guys. I'm in EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.